list of sensitive sites, sensitive Iranian sites. What their category was social, political, and religious sites, and then in brackets, sensitive. We took that list and we put it in the issue crawler. And we crawled all of those sites, grabbed all the outlinks from each of those sites. And you see here the map that came out. This is an issue crawler map. And then what we subsequently did is we compared the list that we got with their own list, and we found that we had added another 250 websites to the list through this dynamic URL sampling. So we built out the list. Then what we did is we took those particular sites, the newly discovered ones, and we ran them through proxies, so machines in Iran. And we made a number of remarkable discoveries. We discovered 40 or 45 websites that were blocked that the researchers didn't know about. We also did a page level analysis. So the researchers were using, under their news sites, were using bbc.co.uk, the homepage for BBC, and BBC, the homepage, kept coming back as not blocked, not censored. But on our map, which is here on our map, the BBC page that was returned as highly relevant was bbc.co.uk/Persian. So we ran that page through, and that page was blocked. What you see before you is three kinds of annotated sites, if you will. The red ones are blocked, the blue ones are not blocked, and then the red ones with pins on them are the ones that are blocked, but that we discovered, that were unknown to the researchers beforehand. Now this work is double-edged. Yeah? I mean, the first thing that I said when I initially saw this, I said, oh, we would be very good censors. Because those blue ones are just waiting to be blocked. So it's double-edged. It's double-edged work, and there's also the question of how to deal with these kind of findings, how to publish them, etc., which I can talk about later. The website. How is it normally studied? Websites are normally studied from usability point of views. There was a very, very famous book, came out, I think it was 1999, 2000. That was called Don't Make Me Think. Yeah? And there's a debate between the Don't Make Me Think school and a kind of navigation poetics school where the debate is about whether it's interesting or not to make the user think. The best websites from usability point of view are those sites that largely don't make you think. Yeah? So you know more or less how to navigate it, and you can navigate it well because you have a sort of template in your head about how sites are normally built. That's one way they're normally studied. How else are sites studied? They're often studied from sort of user studies. That is to say, another form of user studies apart from usability studies. Eye tracking. So if you fix eye trackers, and then you chart where the person is looking at a website, right? So this is sort of classic kind of, if you will, digitized method. And these, what you get out of these are heat maps, and I'll show you one in a second. They're also studied from site optimization point of view. This is slightly different. There are black hat and white hat site optimizers, SEO, search engine optimizers as well. How do you optimize your site so that you can grab more eyeballs? So website studies are oftentimes about sort of eyeball studies, if you will. How do you get more eyeballs? More social scientifically, you see a lot of website research into the features of a site. What features do a particular website have? And if they have features making the site more interactive, does that mean it's going to lead to more engagement somehow, more participation? Yeah, so this is this idea that has been critiqued by any number of authors, the idea of the democratic potential of interactivity itself. So this particular assumption is often built in quite implicitly into site feature analysis. This is a heat map. It is the result of eye tracking research. It shows how people look at search engine returns. And the red area is where they've looked the most. And then you see it trails off. This is also called the golden triangle of search. And indeed, what Google did was it moved its menu upper left. So you see that there are kind of tangible results coming from these sorts of things. Additionally, not only did Google move the menu upper left, but it's interesting that they have the sponsor results that go above the organic results, quote unquote, are far more expensive than the AdWords that are on the right-hand side. So this is also an economy that you're looking at here. So this is a kind of particular sense of what's the most expensive page real estate, if you will. How else to study it? It's interesting. I have put forward, and I'm putting forward to you today, that the website can be studied as an archived object. It's very interesting to look at the literature. If you do a short literature review of literature that has Internet Archive as a keyword, what you'll find is that the literature is about how the Internet Archive works, not how to use it or what to do with it. How do you do web research with the Internet Archive? Now, we saw an example previously with the investigative reporters in the Netherlands doing this language, this text analysis, if you will, content analysis of the right-wing sites. Now, that is an example of using it. Now, I wanted to mention one exception. If you look for the Wayback Machine as a keyword, there is some work on how to make use of archive websites, what kind of work to do with it, but it's very scant. So what I have developed, and this is step one, and there's going to be another step, but what I've developed is a piece of software that works in kind of like in time-lapsed photography. So it takes a website, goes to the Internet Archive, grabs the pages of a particular website, and then puts them in order, so you can see how a website has evolved over time. And I want to show one example of this of the results of this of a kind of time-lapse photography of a website over time. This is the output of the Wayback Machine. It's very interesting to look at its interface and what the interface does for how you can use it. What you do in the Internet Archive is you type in a single URL. Yeah, and then you get the pages of that single URL that have been stored and the dates. Yeah? So it privileges, if you will, single site histories. Yeah? Histories of single sites, as opposed to what you would think more intuitively, but it's very, very difficult, is a past state of the web. What was the web like in 1999? Well, in order to conjure a past state of the web, it's quite difficult with the Internet Archive and the Wayback Machine. But we're going to be doing that this summer, so I'll let you know how that goes. But before we get there, I'd like to show you the results of capturing the history of a website and the kind of stories it can tell. And I'm going to plug this in. It was a bit tricky earlier, but we'll see if it's going to work out for us.
I apologize for the sound and for this building is being refitted and it's slow, so the sound is not very good.
That's what I was worried about. Yeah. 4 minutes. This is the history of Google as seen through its interface. From the beginning, sometime in November 1998, all the way up until late 2007.
These are screenshots